I told the daughter I'm not taking care of it. Bring him back if you want to. I'm not.
I ain't even used to it. I look around and say, who they talking to? She told me. I was like, I'm glad she was able to make it. Yes. Oh yeah.
Commissioner Boone planning to make it.
I have your attention, please. I have your attention, please. Certainly pleasure to see all of you tonight and to know that all of you are talking with each other. It just makes me feel good that we are communicating, and I am appreciative of you leaving your workplace, coming here, leaving home, coming here, leaving your couch and coming here. I'm appreciative because it make me now know that you too are interested in what Northampton County does. Northampton County will never be any better than the citizens in this county, and we all understand that. And one thing we got going for us is good citizens. This is a meeting of the Northampton County Board of Commissioners. On this day, we shall meet and take care of the business of our county. At this time, I'm calling our meeting to order. You see behind me is our mission statement, which states what it is we all about. This is not about us. This is about what's best for our county, not best for our county today, but what's best for our county for the future. Our vision statement is likewise about, do we have a vision? Do we really know where we're going? Do we really understand what it's going to take in this in years to come to make Northampton County quality? So at this time, I'm going to ask you to please take a moment of silence, as we got much going on in this world, and even in our families, and even in our community. So I'm asking you for just a few moments to take a few moments to breathe of silence. Thank you so much for taking that moment. At this time, we live in the greatest place in the world, the United States of America. At this time, I'm going to ask you if you would to please stand with me as we have the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Thank you. Vice Chairman, will you please read for me the conflict of interest statement?
Of course. In accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by this board in section 153A44 of the North Carolina General Statutes, it is the duty of every member present to vote on all matters coming before the board, unless there is a conflict of interest as determined by the board or by law. Does any board member have a conflict of interest with respect to any agenda item coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and the board will consider the matter.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Commissioner Buffalo.
No conflict, sir.
No conflict, Faulkner.
No conflict.
I'll say it again because it might have come through at the same time. No conflict, Faulkner.
Okay.
His voice probably carried more than
Thank you. No
mine.
conflict. There being no conflict, then we shall move on with our agenda. Okay, the agenda. Do you have before you the agenda? Are any persons who want to add or delete anything from the agenda? Please speak now. Shall follow the agenda as given.
Chairman Tyner.
Yes.
After conferring with the attorney to see if there were any attorney-client privilege information needed to be presented tonight, he shared that there was not, and we don't have any personnel or EDC report to consider. So I move that we remove closed session 14 from the agenda and place 14 as adjourned.
Okay. I have a
Second.
move the proper second that we would eliminate number 14, make it that adjourn. Are there any questions, any discussion about the agenda? Not, what is your pleasure?
I make a move that we approve the agenda as amended during our work session.
Second.
Moving proper second to approve the agenda is given. All in favor, let it known by you sign aye.
Aye.
Faulkner.
Hello.
Ayes have it, motion is carried.
Chairman Tyner.
Yes,
As a point of clarification, what we consider our agenda work session is what we just did there, instead of it being a separate meeting. So no one would think there was a different meeting.
thank you. At this time we do have Mr. Stroud. Mr. Stroud, is he on? If not, okay, we'll come back. If he comes on, he's supposed to be coming to us, talking about a program that he want to bring to Northampton County. And we'll listen to him if he comes on. At number 6 is the Office of Aging. Bring us an update.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings, Chairman Tyner,
Yeah.
Vice Chair Faulkner, to Commissioner Edwards, our County Attorney, and our County Manager, and to each and every one of you. I stand before you rather quickly with just some information and update as it relates to the Office on Aging. We have several programs or referral information, a home delivered meal program, an outreach program, advocacy groups, health promotional programs, family caregiver resources, information, insurance information, volunteer opportunities, and free produce box distribution. We are proud to announce that we will be resuming our free produce box distribution back on this month. Those who qualify will be our older adults, 60 or older, who live in the county and willing to participate in a future congregate meal site. And those who are interested, they can call the Senior Center at 574-0229. I also want to share with you all, older adults in the community, we are proud to announce that we have an on-site fitness room at our Senior Center. It has a treadmill, has a stepper, and if you know someone who is interested in our older adults and using the fitness equipment, we just got a few short steps that they'll follow to become a registered member. You do have to sign a medical clearance form from your doctor. And once you do that and get that back to us, our staff will train you safely on how to use the equipment in the office. So we have that. Also, by way of aging, we know that soon 1 of 5 North Carolinians will be the tender age of 65 or older. So we have the Age My Way survey, which closes on the end of October. So we are encouraging all people who are the tender age of 45 or older to please do so. If they need the printed version, they can contact our office, but there is a QR code on the flyer where they can do it electronically. We also will be having our Wheels and Power of Attorney Clinic, which will be held Friday, September 16th at 10 a.m. We are the host here at Northampton County Senior Center here in Jackson, and that's going to be held through our legal aid of North Carolina. Also on that same day, on Friday, September 16th at 11:30 a.m. Our very own SHIP coordinator, Miss Regina Moffett, will be there with the presentation. And for those who should attend, those who are caregivers, if you're someone who wants to learn the difference between Medicare supplement and Medicaid Advantage plans, she will be a great resource to let you know, because open enrollment does start on next month. Every third Wednesday of each month, we have our family caregiver support group. We want to let those caregivers know that they are not alone. They can contact the senior center. We do have our support group there every third Wednesday of each month at 11 a.m. Starting in October 4th through November 8th, is a 6-week chronic disease self-management free workshop. We will be the host. That class will be taught through AAA, Agency Agent on Aging. And that you will get a book and a free CD during that class. And we are asking for registrations for that class because the seating space is limited, and you would contact our office to register for that class. The Northampton County Office on Aging, we are on the committee for the Aging Expo for Roanoke Valley. And we are proud to present on Thursday, October the 6th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have our Aging Expo, which is titled Safe Aging, Keeping Older Adults Secure from Scams. We do encourage you to register. For the first 200 people to register, there is free lunch that is provided. There will be exhibits, refreshments, door prizes, speakers, and there will be health screenings. Last but definitely not least, we are in need of volunteers for our home delivered meal program. So I encourage you all to be a dear and volunteer today. We are in need of volunteers in our Gaston area, Woodland, Rich Square, Jackson, Seaboard areas. So if you or you know someone who is interested and looking forward to paying it forward and giving back, please contact our office. I do have these flyers that I'll leave on the table as well. We also want to let you know we are a referral station for our senior community opportunities. Some of our older adults want to be back in the workforce. So we encourage you to give us a call. We can connect you with our coordinator, Ms. Rebecca Stapleton, for those Title V worker needs. Also, we have grandparents raising grandchildren support program. It has a lot of great resources. Of course, the resources are available dependent upon funding, but they have day camps. They help with day camp, school trips, daycare, diapers, emotional support, as well as educational support. So these are many of the resources or tools that we have going on at the Aging Center. This is just part, commissioners, of many things that will help us start to draw down those funds for senior operations in the future. So last but definitely not least, Chairman Tyner, I do ask, we also applied for a grant at the Aging, and we were awarded that grant in the amount of $3,614 for our home delivered program from Roanoke Valley United Way grant for our 2023 funding. So I respectfully ask Chairman Tyner if you and the board members would accept this grant in the amount of $3,614.
At this time, board members, could I have a motion to accept that grant before we move, before we have a question I need to ask her? Can I have a motion to accept that grant?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the grant in the amount of $3,614 for the food service program.
Second,
Second.
proper second, accept the grant. All in favor, let know by you sign aye.
Aye.
I Faulkner.
I Buffalo.
Aye, Charles Tyner. Ayes have, motion is carried. Thank you so much.
Thank
Now, if you just stay there just one moment. Board members, do you have any questions? You need to ask our Director of Aging?
Mine is not a prepared question, but I thank you so much for all that you've done to bring the program back up to where it had been recognized as helpful in our community and to get it fully recognized at the state level for being a senior center. I would like to ask if there are any supports that our county commissioners can provide to the program. Our seniors and our children, they depend on us for so much, and we want to make sure that they are not lacking in any area that we are able to support. So I just want to make sure that if there, and I know that's asking a loaded question because I know there's a lot, but if there is something that our commissioners can do to support our senior program, that we ask that you just let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
Through our county manager, of course, I know.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I heard you say something about volunteers.
Yes,
And I know we need them and we gotta work, all of us, we need to work in our community. Make sure that we got somebody in our community who can help us out in delivering those meals. Because now we're delivering more meals than we were a month ago.
our numbers have increased and we are such a rural county and stretched out so far in order to ensure that we meet the requirements. Myself and Mr. Sproul, we're both delivering to ensure that we meet those requirements so that we don't get cited for through the federal grant funds that pay for the program.
Thank you. Could I ask you to please get in touch with the sheriff who's in the house tonight? And maybe he can help us with some of his deputies during lunchtime, you know, to deliver those meals. Not only that, but every municipality have their own police force. That's a good help.
Yes,
They're good folks who really want to help us. They have their fire departments and so forth. So we just probably got to knock on their doors and say, look, we need you to help us in your community.
absolutely.
So if we would do that, I think we're on our way. Commissioners, we worked hard to have this program. As you all know, we didn't have a senior program for about a year, and we worked hard to bring this to be. And I want to thank you for helping us. But we do know in Northampton County that we have a lot of seniors, more seniors than anybody else, really.
Yeah.
So I just want to say to you, thank you for what you're doing. Let's make it, let's grow it, let's
Yeah.
grow it, let's grow it. Let's get these seniors out of the houses so they can socialize with others.
Yes,
And I thank you for all you're doing. The commissioners, we all want to thank you for all you're doing. Thank you.
Absolutely.
my pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the volunteering of the delivery meals. Is it a transportation gas cost? Have you seen a decline in support in that area, or is it just more people needing to be served? I know you do some home to home
Yeah.
and some pick up. So
Well, the gas was not really an issue. Our volunteers that we had, of course, they was older adults serving other older adults. So many of them, due to health reasons, have elected to come back. Some of our volunteers we did lose during COVID. So that's really where the gap has come in at. And then some of them, their health declined to the point that they're now on the list for the services. So it wasn't so much the gas or the transportation. Those volunteers would have to provide their own transportation. We only serve 1 day a week because we serve 5 frozen nutritious meals. So it will only be 1 day a week.
thank you.
Any other questions? Buffalo, any questions? This is what you have been working with. Any other questions?
No questions, Chairman.
Thank you. We appreciate your coming and giving us an update. We really appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Continue the good work. The next one that we have on the program, on the agenda is, I our chair, Honorable Jack Smith.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon. Good evening.
this honorable board of commissioner, county attorney, county manager, clerk to the board, all those present today. Before I do my little spiel, I just want to thank this board of commissioners for looking out for us in the time of needs, especially with us allowing us to get those calls at the last moment. Commissioner Faulkner, thank you for leading the way in that regards. We did secure those 2 vehicles, and it's going to be very valuable for us because we don't ever know when they're going to shut it down like they did last year and the year before, and not be able to get into the type of patrol calls that we need to service the citizen of this great county. I stand before you today with a happy moment in one sense and a sad moment in another. I stand before this honorable board requesting that this board approve and award 3 retirees from the Northampton County Sheriff's Office that has retired in the last several years. I have thought about this in a great deal in great length. And it's a happy time, commissioners, when anyone reached the milestone of being able to retire.
Amen.
The downside to it is you don't ever know exactly what you're going to get to replace those. It would behoove all of us sometime to think about when we first started in our career. And some of you been around a long time. As I look around, some I've been knowing quite a while, Chairman Tyner. You're still on the scene. But I stand before you, these 3 people, retired deputies, and thank God they are still helping us on a part-time basis where we don't have to provide any benefits for them. The first one that I want to consider and ask this honorable board to consider is Sergeant Jeffrey Barnes. Sergeant Jeffrey Barnes is a native of Lasker, and he had 20 years of service. His retirement date was October the 1st, 2020. Sergeant Barnes retired and went into business on his own, and he did a great job while he was here, never complained. I ask that this honorable board approve, and you have the serial number and the weapons before you and the make and model, to allow him to, you all award him his badge as well as his service weapon. As General Statutes 20-187 allowed this honorable board to do. Lieutenant Alan Roy served 37 years in law enforcement. I ask that this honorable board, same way, award him his service weapon and badge. And finally, Captain Virginia Powell, who retired August the 1st, it has 2020, but it should be 2022. She just retired. All 3 of these, when you add their total time up, is close to 90 years of service to this county. We're gonna truly miss them. I already miss them. As you know, it's hard to find replacement. Their work ethics is similar to mine, that we stay and work as long as there's work to be done, as many of you do, and as many as you do in attendance today. I would be remiss if I say that everybody have that type of work disposition. When I retired from the last employment I worked on, I had about 30,000 hours of comp time, as it may be. But I never took 1 hour of comp time, and haven't in my career either. The federal government's made it that we have to allow them, either pay them or give them comp time, but it's so hard to find people that want to do this job for the right reason, because it's not for the money. None of these ones I just mentioned here, all 37 years of service, none of them never made $50,000 a year. And when you look around, it's kind of sad that you stay in a profession as dangerous as this one is and as demanding as this one is, and you have to work so many nights and so many weekends and so many holidays. And you know that at the end of 37 years, this board, you don't make $50,000 a year. But I thank you all for what you have done. And I would be remiss also if I didn't say that you all have raised the starting salary from 29,000 to 39,000 since I've been the sheriff, and I thank you all for that.
Yes, sir.
And I will be appearing before you all in the near future for a little bit more shortly. Because as you all know, you kind of get what you pay for. I mean, if you want a nice car, you're not gonna go get a Studebaker. If you want one to work and service you well, you want the best. And Toyotas and things like that serve mankind well. Well, I know we can't and I can't stand for Halifax to get ahead of me, Commissioner Tyner.
I understand. I don't want to.
But I'm here for the weapons, but I'm just throwing that out there because it does make a big difference. And everybody's not like Jack Smith. I'm gonna stay with you to the end, regardless of almost what you pay me, but it ain't too many Jack Smiths left out here in this world. But if this board see fit, and I certainly pray to God that they do, that you award these individuals, the minimum service is 20 years, 2 had 20 and 1 had 37. I beg this board, I request of this board to award these 3 retired members who are still serving in a part-time basis, their service weapon. And I want to thank you all for that. And I want to thank you all for all you do for me and the sheriff's office, because you are very easy to work with. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Board members, any comments you want to make to the sheriff at this time? We ask for your.
Have a question,
Yeah.
but maybe not related to this, not necessarily, so we're gonna ask him.
Sheriff,
Yes, sir.
we do appreciate all that you do and all the work that people working in your department does. And I know with these 3 persons, you're gonna really miss them. Hope you much luck in finding somebody to replace them. That's probably half as good, half as as these 3 persons are. I've been knowing these 3 persons all of my life too. And I just want you to know that certainly they have done Northampton County well, not only through your administration, but through other sheriff's administration.
Yes, sir.
And I do want to say that they are certainly worthy of keeping their badge and gun and so forth. Asking that this board at this time, what is
Make a motion that we approve the request submitted by the Honorable Sheriff Jack Smith to grant the awarding of the service weapon and badge to retiree Sergeant Jeffrey Barnes, retiree Lieutenant Alan Roy, and retiree Captain Virginia Howard.
Second.
moved and properly second, that we will award, as sheriff has given us, the badge and the weapons to those persons. And say to those persons likewise, congratulations. We're glad that they served us in Northampton County. Are you ready for your question? If all in favor, let it be known by you sign aye.
Aye.
Faulkner.
I at Buffalo.
Let's have it. Motion is carried. Ms. Buffalo, if you need to say something, you have to speak up because I don't see your face. So you have to speak up, okay? All right, thank you.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Our canine, they're at the point that they are hired. Is there a general statute or is there a process that you use for the canine?
Yes, ma'am, they are. What we do and what is customary in the process they do, that when the canine retires, that they give it to the canine handler who has been with the dog many times, anywhere between 5 and 10 years of service. About 10 years is about the most good service you're gonna get out of the average K-9 unit. But yes, ma'am, they are. Thank you. We're looking at perhaps getting one maybe next year on next year's budget. We have so much coming and going, and you don't want to get someone trained with the K-9 and the unit, and then, within a year, 18 months or 2 years, they leave and seek other employment. And that's about $15,000 down to 2 every time that happens. So, you want someone that's gonna be here and serve this kind of like going to school, Commissioner Faulkner. When you send a person to BLET school we do contracts, but most of them are anywhere from 2 to 3 years. But you want people to stay beyond those time, because it costs about $35,000 when you figure it for a person to go just to BLET. And when he goes to school and he leave us and go to work in, say, a Hertford County or a Hosky, then he take that $40,000 is gone, and the tax, and then you got to replace him with another $40,000, send someone else to school. So that's one of the reasons why we're kind of slow in the K-9, because we want to make sure that the taxpayers get their money worth out of the person that we choose for that position.
Saying thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Want to respect those parts of your department as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Thank you all so much for everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This time we should have the proposed addition for the US Cellular contract, Water Department.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen,
Good evening.
board. Yes, citizens. I have two requests before you. One is for an upgrade or addition to the current contract with US Cellular for cell phones for the Public Works Department. The cost of the phone is the government contract price, and then the cost of the service is again the government contract price. That is a budgeted item for the phones as well as the service plan. And the second that you have before you is also US Cellular, and that is for tablets for field staff. The service plan I've broken down so you can see the service plan that is recurring, but the units themselves, which are not recurring, and it's broken out into the two systems, the Enterprise 61 fund and the Enterprise 62 fund, both of which are budgeted items for that as well. The addition of these devices would assist our department, of course, with mobilization, tracking work orders, tracking purchases in the system, work being done, needed done, documentation of incidents, and so forth, as well as allowing for state program reports to be documented as work is performed instead of through a paper trail. So I respectfully request to be allowed to add the phones, the tablets, and the service plans to our current US Cellular contract between the county and US Cellular.
Okay, County Manager, that's our budget's already in there.
It's in our budget, and it's our strategic objective of automation for this department.
Thank you. Any commissioners got a question before I ask for motion? Any question? Not, could I have a motion?
I think it's great automaticity. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Have a second?
Second, the tablet and phone contract addendum.
You have a second? This contract. Ready for the question? Discussion, any other discussion? Not all in favor, let it be known by you just sign aye.
Aye.
I Buffalo.
I Faulkner. I was trying to wait for Ms. Buffalo.
Scared me.
It's okay. I was waiting for her.
I've had that motion, Ms. Karen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
Mr. Chairman. I appreciate, thank you, board.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate all you're doing. Don't let us have a Jackson, Mississippi situation here. Keep
Amen.
keep our water like it's supposed to be. Okay? We appreciate it. Okay, the next one is a proposal bookkeeping service contract.
Sir, good evening, everyone. You have before you the contract with Jeff Best CPA, certified public accountant. Basically what Best and his firm is going to provide for us is the prep work that's going to go into completing all of our closeout entry for fiscal 2022. Prepare us for the audit, actually facilitate the audit since it will be handled by a CPA who will be able to confirm that the accounts are reconciled in accordance with GASB pronouncements. And one of the things that the LGC allows is for us to use this type of service. The Jeff Best is also going to be used as our SKE, which is the skills knowledge expert that's going to certify the audit of Allen Thompson agency. So that's something that the LGC incorporated last fiscal year. So we had to have our audit certified, stating that it was done correctly. He's also going to perform that. But then what he's doing for us right now is just, he's going to be with our staff. He's going to help us to close the books out. And then he's going to train staff. So we're not looking to keep him long-term. We want to get him in here, have him review the books, help us to prepare everything for the year-end closing, get trial balance correct, have all of our accounts set up such that we can then just hand them over to Allen Thompson, have him do his audit and basically eliminate any type of excuses for not getting our audit done on time.
Let me ask you this, audits now require you have someone this nature. And I don't understand why we don't keep him as a retainer, because it's required even after the audit is done. He's another auditor got to come now. That's new. Another auditor got to come now and certify what an auditor.
Right.
So I hear you say short time, but it is.
For this service.
Okay, all right.
But long-term, he will be the SKE,
That's what I'm talking.
but we can always put out a bid for SKEs.
Okay,
So you're not tied into one person for too long of a period.
thank you. Another question,
I guess we can make a motion and then ask some questions.
well, the only reason I do that, so if I got a question and not vote for it, then we don't need to bring it up, but that's the reason I do it. You don't know.
Do it
why
the
I
other way.
do it. Okay, that's the reason why I do it. So we'll stop it in the water before we go. But we'll accept at this time. Could I have a motion? We can then ask the question.
I make a motion that we accept the proposed bookkeeping services contract for fiscal year 2022-2023, presented by our county manager, Mr. Phillips.
Have a second?
Second.
All right, are there any questions now?
I'd like to see a not to exceed amount in a contract. And I don't see the form for the county attorney. I do see the notes. So is this your handwriting?
It is.
Okay.
I don't have the final version yet, but I think in your package, it says that a final
Yes,
clean version will be submitted.
Yeah.
It was reviewed.
okay. So is there,
And what I guess my question would be what kind of additional documentation would you?
Just a dollar amount for budgeting purposes. I kind of personal, but I just don't like an open-ended kind of additional contract that gives us some type of window of saying what's in our budget. This is what we're going to do. And then if it gets to a point where we need to do more, then it comes back to us, but it allows us to manage our expenditures a little bit. So if we can, if there's an estimation of about how many hours they're going to work and we see the range here, if they can give us with the, again, you could come back and say more, but I like to see a not to exceed amount.
All right, I'm gonna ask that the county manager and the attorney do that and to go on and clean up and that so that we can go on and get our audit. And this, if we don't do it, man, we will not meet our deadline in the state for our audit. So if it's all right with you, I would like to have it so that our attorney and our county manager will come up with even that amount, looking at the budget that we have now. Okay, if we don't
I'm
exceed,
fine with that as long as there's a
yeah,
clause in there and your amendments that you've listed, anything that you make.
okay. Are there any others?
Can I amend my motion?
Yes, you may.
I make a motion that pending final county attorney approval with the addition of the not to exceed clause. Make a motion that we approve contingent upon those.
Could I have a second again? Yeah,
Are we seconding the amendment?
yes.
Yes.
Second the amendment.
Other questions? Discussion? Favor, let it be known by usual sign. Aye.
Aye.
I, Faulkner.
Buffalo,
Aye. Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you so much, board members. At this time, as we continue, let's talk about hourly and tax appeals. Oh, no, she. Bring the motion back. Bring the motion back. He want us to follow, make sure we follow Robert rules.
Yes, sir. That's all.
We bring it
There are
again.
no questions.
Okay,
I make a motion
Mhm.
that we,
Right, because the original motion was amended.
A vote was taken on the amendment. Make a motion.
Correct. The amended, but an amendment was made to the original motion. If you say it's okay.
No, I mean,
I taught it for 20 years.
just for clarification,
let's take the vote on the original motion.
are we taking a vote on the original? Or we taking am I restating my amendment so that I
The
make sure
original.
I'm clear?
The original motion.
Okay, a vote on the original motion? Nay.
she's voting nay.
On the original motion.
What do you vote?
I'm voting.
See, the original motion.
We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it.
Try as a,
When you amend a motion, we'll continue.
Sure.
If there's an understanding, we'll continue. That's right. We're fine.
She was.
I'll bring it up. I
I
got it. I got it.
I guess you gotta withdraw your second, but at any rate, she withdrew it and we started.
We're good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I-
All right.
Sure.
okay.
Yes, we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, when you, anytime you amend a motion, you vote on the amendment, then you go back to the original motion.
I grant you.
Yes,
I hear you.
understood.
All right, let's continue. Evelyn Pat taxes, at last, okay.
Greetings. I bring you greetings from the tax department here in Northampton County. I'm before you this evening to obtain the board's approval on 12 appeals in the amount of $515.47. The listed taxpayers have asked me to come to you all on their behalf. And according to North Carolina General Statute 105-381, the Board of Commissioners may, upon receiving a taxpayer's written statement of a valid defense, refund such tax if the valid defense is one of the following. That is a tax imposed through clerical error, an illegal tax, and a tax levied for an illegal purpose. It is my recommendation that the board approve the refunds in the amount of $515.47.
Okay, board members, it's your pleasure.
Make a motion that we approve the 12 appeals as presented by our tax administrator totaling $515.47.
Okay, could I have a second?
Second.
Move proper second to approve the bill, $515.47. Are you ready for question? Discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known that you saying aye.
Aye.
Al Faulkner,
Buffalo,
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you.
Okay, just want to make a statement to the taxpayers of Northampton County. We are aware that a lot of taxpayers are struggling with making their tax payments as well as their mortgage payments. North Carolina has an agency called North Carolina Homeowner Assistance Fund that is assisting those individuals with making tax payments as well as mortgage payments. Just for the purpose of ones in here and listening to me, that phone number is 855-696-2423. They're available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you have questions, feel free to call us at the tax department.
Thank you. That's a whole lot you said. Thank you. It is. That's what we're doing. Thank you so much for all that you're doing at the tax department. At this time, we're going to have a proposal for broadband services for Northampton County. Please come. Oh.
Aaron Tyner, Vice Chair Faulkner, commissioners, staff, and of course, the community. We thank you for the great honor to be here tonight to present this proposal to you. As a bit of history, we began discussing this with the Upper Coastal Plain Region, Council of Governments, and then Northampton and other counties in this region in February of 2022. So we're building up to this moment here where we're seeking an approval to go forward with a proposal to help you to bridge the digital divide in the county, bringing high-speed, affordable internet to many of the homes here on an immediate basis. I'd also like to thank Ron Jackson and Rod Stanley for joining me today. They're representatives of US Cellular. Rod is your public service account manager. Excuse me, Ron is, and Rod is the retail store manager in nearby Ahoskie, serving the western part of the county. Given the fact that we have presented this proposal, I've prepared a short summary of what this project is all about that would help to bring new people up to speed. If you'd like to see that, I'm prepared to show that on one slide. And then a coverage map of where this service would actually be facilitated for you. Should I proceed? Okay. And if we could just flip to the next slide, that would be great. So it might be a little hard to read that, but this is a bridge proposal for you. There are about 2,000, a little bit over 2,000 homes, households in Northampton County that have no access to any internet today. So what we're doing here is we're using our existing infrastructure where it exists, our towers. And we're using special equipment attached to those towers and the homes in order to bring broadband service to those homes. And I'll show you where they are in just a minute here. We're doing this on our regular low band, mobile capable frequency, but we're also telling you that coming in 2023 is a new technology, mid-band spectrum, a different level of the radio spectrums that are going to increase the speeds further for this with additional public-private collaboration. What will happen here is those towers that are existing today, and there are 8 towers that US Cellular has in Northampton County, will be broadcasting to these homes using a radio that's specially designed for rural America that will be installed on the outside of a home that elects the service. And a picture of that is described in the left side of that slide up there. It's about a shoebox sized antenna. If someone were to choose to do that and get the access plan that goes along with that, they would have broadband service at a speed greater than 25 megabits per second download, 3 upload, and up to 100 megabits per second download, 10 megabits per second upload. But the presentation we're making you today will show you the areas that will actually get today 20, 25, 3 or 55, 50 download, 5 upload. Now, these speeds are speeds that are very good for many of the things that are important for people in a digital lifestyle, including telehealth,
Yes.
including remote work, including remote education. So the benefit of this proposal listed under the when bullet up there is that this can happen pretty much now. We have to turn on the services. We have to do some investing. We have to have contracts written for those that would install these antennas on the homes that would elect the service. And that'll take a little bit of time to do, but we're estimating that we could do that as quickly as November of this year in most of the county. This would bring choice and affordability of broadband services to many people. What we're asking the county to do here is to help with the adoption of this program by a public contribution to the program. And we presented multiple options over the last 6 months to the county in this regard. One would be a partial assistance of the equipment that's installed on the house. It's listed as option 1. One would be full assistance of that equipment that would be installed on the home. That's option 2. And in recent conversations, there's been a third alternative, which is just to pay for the professional installation of those items. The county can certainly choose to do that in order to activate these services for people in the county and bring them immediate broadband at whatever level the county would decide, the commission would decide to use. And yes, Commissioner Faulkner, we can put and not to exceed on that in terms of how you'd like the budget in terms of what we'd bring forward. Now, on the next slide, Caleb, you'll see the areas listed there of where US Cellular has our existing towers today. And they're represented by the light blue dots on that map of Northampton County. In the areas that are listed on that map or shown on that map in blue is where we have validated that we can bring 50 megabits per second down and 5 megabits per second up of broadband. In the green areas that are a little bit farther from the tower, we get on the fringe and that's 25 down, 3 up. In the white areas on that map, we can't guarantee this service today. However, what we can do is we can continue with our relationship in a public-private partnership as we get further funds delivered from the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And we can propose tower. We can propose a tower that's just east of Halifax or east of Seward or between Jackson and Rich Square, and installing that additional infrastructure there with funds expected from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, we can complete the picture of connectivity in Northampton County. My presentation is completed. I'm open to questions.
Approximately how many of those 2,000 residents will you be able to immediately get them?
Yeah, when we look at all the addresses on there, about half of those 2,000 unserved today are within the blue or green areas of the map.
So that's the 1,144.
Yes, ma'am.
So the public would know this is perhaps There's 3 other companies, but we can, no way can we afford amounts. Those amounts were just outrageous because of the fact that they're going to bring in fiber optic, whatever it is. They're gonna bring it, and it will cost beyond what we could ever pay, more than our budget, our whole budget for county. But we do know that the governor last week gave a company monies to give for Northampton County to have this service. And that company says yes, but they're talking about 2 years or more because they can't find the equipment or whatever they need. They can't find it. Sure. They don't have it. So what we're trying to do, sis, is to provide right now the best that we can get to provide for our citizens, so that you at least more than, we won't be the last in the state as far as the number of people we have in our county that need this service. We also know that Roanoke, we already have hooked up, Roanoke Connect, have already hooked up some parts of our county. We were, so you, let you know, we were hoping that Roanoke would receive the federal grant, that they would be able to continue to move all across the county. But to this date, they have not received it. They didn't receive it last week. The amount of money that state allotted for these projects, they just didn't get it. So what we're doing, if we will go with this company, we're going with it. That's why we're thinking about it. Hope we'll go. We keep waiting. We still don't have anything. We really don't have anything, folks. And if we go with this company, at least we'll have those other thousands, how many they're planning to do. And by that time, we're hoping that the company that the state have said to us will be able to start running some the cable. Likewise, Roanoke Connect will be able to do it. So right now, that's where we are. And I hope I say it in a way so that you understand. We're between a rock and a hard place. We bring this to you tonight because we want somewhere, we want people to get started. And I know somebody's gonna be mad tonight because of the fact that we didn't start at my house. I didn't start on my street. But we got to get started somewhere. And this company is the only one who said they can do something in November, by November, have people that don't have this service with service. Along with that, we can sign a no contract with them. That means that they're going to be with us forever. It's one house at a time. If they hook that house up, they receive the service, then they will, we will pay the $500. That's what we agreed in the beginning, unless we decide to do differently. And that, and if the new company comes back and says, I want to now join the new company, you'll be able to do so. Hope I said it in a way that you understand it. Right now, we're left, and I'm be honest with you, I don't know how the other board members, but people, you all are calling, you're calling,
Absolutely.
you're calling. We're doing everything we possibly can. We got 4 other companies, but none of them with nowhere within range of any federal money, anything that we got that we'll be able to do. We were really hoping that Roanoke would be able to do it because they're in our county, you know, that's their home. But they're not able to do it as of this time. So right now, our board members, am I right, County? That's right. That we're looking at letting this company go on and hook us up as many as we possibly can get hooked up.
I have a question.
Now, okay, let me finish. We've been working on this for 4 months. I mean, we've been working on it. And it's like anything else in Northampton County, it's just hard. It's really hard to get any company, any developer, anybody to come to Northampton County. It's just hard. And I'll talk about that in my remarks tonight. It's just hard. It's not us. It's just hard to get anybody to come and provide the service. So here we are. Many of you have been knocking on our doors. You've been calling us. This is the way we have right now that will not break the bank. We can get these services. And if they come to your house, they're going to do the installing. They're going to make sure you hooked up. They're going to make sure that you have the service. If you don't have the services, and we won't be paying, you won't be paying the monthly bill, $30, $40 or whatever that you gotta pay. That's where we are. And I do apologize for it's taking us so long to find a company that will come in and provide those services. That's where we are. Now, Madam, yielding.
Okay. Based upon your presentation, if you will pull back up the slide and go to slide 2. The where, how was the 2,322 households determined?
US Cellular contracts with a company called Cost Quest Associates, which is the company that has been contracted by the federal government to produce the broadband maps. In their preliminary maps that they provided us, they tell us what households do not have any access to service at least 25.3, and that's where that 2322 comes from.
And the determination of the 1,144, how was that completed?
That comes from our engineers using their tools to show where the coverage from that tower will exist. And the households that are within those blue areas or green areas on the map are those that we're addressing.
I could tell you the northeastern part of Northampton County and the southern, you look at the shape of the map, if you go to the next slide, where that large amount of white is. And I know you talked about towers. I know there is a doctor's office in that white area up on the right that it's hard to even get a call in. You have to call in to the doctor before you go inside to answer the questions. It's hard to even get a signal to call to the doctor's office and you're sitting in the parking lot. And I know this doesn't cover everything, but getting signal inside there is, I'm just thinking about the citizens in those white areas. And I know this doesn't cover everyone, but if you're talking about tower deployment, something that can serve those citizens in those parts, there's a large part of our population in that white area.
Yes.
A school up there that is in that area.
Yes. And are you talking about the area east of Seaboard? Is that
If you're the whole white in the upper
right?
towards Hertford County. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a large population there.
Absolutely. When we began the conversation with the Upper Coastal Plain, I don't know that you know Ben Farmer or Ron Townley.
Yes.
Back in I guess February of this year, we talked about the need to place towers in those areas. We totally agree. This is not showing, this map right here is not showing mobile coverage from your car.
All right.
However, I think that if it were showing that, we would show exactly what you expressed. So therefore, we believe that those areas can use tower deployment, and we believe there's an opportunity to continue collaboration to get towers in those areas with the federal money that's coming, and literally a week ago, I was in Raleigh, speaking with the North Carolina Department of Information Technologies Director Nate Denny, and expressing this need for both mobile coverage, regular cell phone coverage, and the unserved households that don't have service at home. And the simple matter of fact is that people want both of those things. And when we think about the Affordable Connectivity Program, which is the federal subsidy for any household less than 200% of poverty level, which is a significant income, about $52,000 a year, particularly in light of what we were talking about earlier for the deputies. Those households are applying that money right now to their mobile service more than they're applying it to home internet. And so that really speaks, I think, Commissioner Faulkner, to your point about people need to be able to place a call on their cell phones. And it's our intention with the county's collaboration to approach North Carolina on that federal infrastructure funding that's coming. This is a bridge program. This is to get us from here to there.
That's right.
That's all we doing.
I just would be remiss if I didn't say, when you mentioned that there was additional federal money, that Severn, Pendleton, Conway area, that area in the Rich Square community, that's between Rich Square and Woodland, that's white, and down towards the Halifax end in that corner. Not to say that if there is additional money that could be used to allow those citizens the opportunity to even access this, we like for you to consider that.
Absolutely.
Please do. We want everybody
That's right.
to do whatever we need to do within our means to make sure that.
I experienced it
final
myself
question.
today in my traveling around. I spent a lovely day in Northampton and Halifax counties, and I know what you're talking about.
My final question is the difference between if our county decided to go with partial assistance,
Mhm.
how will the citizens, how long of a breakout of the equipment purchase or the difference would they have? Like how many installments would they have in order to pay that difference?
Yes, so I have to go off the top of my head here on this one, so bear with me. We have a 36-month financing program, no interest according to that. And essentially it would be about $400 off that total cost. So it's the difference. If there's no assistance for the equipment, it's about $24 a month for the equipment. If there's partial assistance, it would be down to about $14 a month for the equipment.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
I just want to say this is great news, and I want to thank personally Mrs. Garner for keeping this at the forefront, as well as many other citizens who were talking about broadband service activity, because as you know, one of the things you mentioned, telehealth is critical. Anytime you talk about having the component, and transportation is an issue here in Northampton County. If you can connect to your doctor without traveling, look at the gas prices, even though they are coming down. And I recently had the opportunity, as you know, big on the digital divide. And we have a digital divide here in Northampton County. I want to thank you, Mr. Jackson, and personally, Mr. Jackson, because having extensive conversation with Mr. Jackson about broadband and internet here in Northampton County. Our county is ranked 100 out of 100 counties when it comes to broadband access. And as you say, looking at bringing broadband access, this is definitely a serious bridge for our citizens. You look at what happened with the pandemic. You look at what happens with our senior citizens that have doctor's appointments who not even only in the pandemic, but can't make it because of transportation. This is a huge win. And thank you for everyone who keeps this at the forefront, because this is critical for us here in Northampton County. When you talk about companies that have come, I live on Big John Store Road, and I'll mention them, Spectrum. Spectrum is on 46, but it dared not venture down Big John Store Road. CenturyLink, 22 years. I built my home in 2020. I get so passionate about it, I get confused. But here's the deal. For 20 years, I've contacted CenturyLink to bring internet service down Big John Store Road to no avail. So I stand before each and every person here saying thank you to US Cellular, and a special thank you to Mr. Jackson for having the wherewithal to say, let's start this conversation, and to citizens like Ms. Garner, who keeps it at the forefront. This is huge. 22 years.
Well, this,
And excuse me, and if anyone has HughesNet or DirecTV, it's $189 a month.
right.
That is not affordable. That is not affordable internet. And when it rains, you have nothing.
That's right. That's
Let's
what
bring it home now. Let's have a conversation.
Right. Board members, what we want to do is, and to the citizens, we're going to provide the very best that we can provide.
Absolutely.
And you see what we're trying to do. And once you get started and if the feds come through, state come through, we'll help you push for more funds coming to Northampton County. We'll go talk to farmer. We don't mind going to Upper Coastal Plain. We go there once a month anyway. We need to do something besides talk.
Rural connectivity, Mr. Chairman.
We need to bring some funds to Northampton County for this purpose.
That's right.
Now, let me ask you another. You're already doing this. Am I right? The chairman told me in Halifax County, he's already signed a contract with you all. Is that right?
That is not correct. I was in Halifax County today.
Okay.
They are considering moving forward with something like this, but they have not made a decision. Glenn Rollins, I believe his name is the county attorney there as well. This would be a pilot program in Northampton County for North Carolina. This is a beacon of light, and we expect to get some attention from people like Annette Taylor, who's doing digital inclusion and equity at this in Raleigh. In fact, I think she's interested in hearing how this meeting goes tonight. But I think she's a good partner in this for us, because I think she understands the importance of access to the digital economy and lifestyle for people across the state of North Carolina.
Absolutely. Buffalo.
Yes, sir.
Question?
I just want to thank the US Cellular, and I am disappointed that, if I understood him correctly, there would be no service still on the Pleasant, what is it? Pleasant Grove Road outside of Jackson at this time.
I don't know where that is, other than to refer you back to the map. You know, Ron?
It's in the white, if I'm looking at it correctly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of citizens that work from home, or they're trying to work from home, but they cannot work because they do not have the broadband coverage to do so. So they were hoping to be.
Commissioner, I'm sorry.
They were hoping that this would be an opportunity for them to go back to work.
Yeah, what I can say is that I believe the services that are proposed here are accurate. They're not perfect. When we're dealing with radio frequency, they're not perfect. We validated the propagation at the request of the county. We validated these
Thank you.
these maps, but there's a possibility that they would provide something better than nothing, right? There, and we'd have to try that out and see what happens with the specific address in those wide areas.
Let me.
Thank you.
One benefit to us, of course,
I can't hear.
Ron, do you want a speaker?
Thank you for allowing me to address you guys on this as well. One thing I wanted to share and just kind of bring light on as well is the fact that we do have that local presence. So of course, servicing more of that western side of Northampton County, we have that store based in the high school. We just invested money in there. So there's going to be infrastructure that's going to bleed over into that part of Northampton County with towers and coverage. Same thing with the eastern part. I'm from Garrettsburg, North Carolina, so I'm pretty familiar with Northampton County. So, as far as with that area that you're referencing, what I can tell you, one of the great things that we have luxury of doing, that independent citizen, if they can get to a local store, we can actually run their address and figure out what technology we have for them. We've invested in several different capabilities as far as routers. So even with that broadband connectivity, as far as the external antenna, it could be a strong possibility with some of our 4G routers that we have in store. That address will qualify and still can take advantage of some of those connectivity programs that can reduce their bill.
Thank you.
I need to ask if the water person is here, if y'all consider our water towers. Oh, she don't like it. She don't like it. Have you consider our water tower as being one of those like yours, like you do with your?
Or to add additional antennas on it.
Yes.
That's something with that. I won't answer that for right now, but I think there's something in the works that we have looked to see about different infrastructure. We have neighboring counties that have done that, but that can be very costly. So what we're looking forward to doing is find the most cost-effective strategy that we can implement in the county. And like I said, this is going to be a growing relationship. So as we take this first step forward, of course, over time, like we talked about, those two hotspot areas that we're looking for future investment. I'm super excited personally, like I said, especially being the public sector account manager that supports Northampton County, period. So anything with your US Cellular account, I'm the one that supports it. I know those trouble areas, especially where I think about our police department, sheriff's department. We have so much attention on this county right now of what we can do. That those trouble areas are going to be eventually spots that we're going to fix with your support. So, but for right now, to add that type of infrastructure would be so much additional cost. What we were looking forward to doing is really leveraging what we already have existing to make sure that we have that broadband capability for you.
How long gonna take you to hook up those 1,000 people? Approximately. You said in November. I've told the folks that we're gonna have summertime school over. I didn't mean to lie, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. If all thousands stood forward and said they wanted the service immediately, we would not be able to do that. So we would expect that it's going to take some time, and it's only because of the labor that we'll have to physically install the towers. But our thinking on this, and we haven't worked through all these details, is we'd work with someone within the county. I'm not sure who that would be with Mr. Phillips' organization, but to plan out what that would look like, plan out when these installations would best happen, and work it that way. We don't get even the 1,000 when we do programs like this. We don't get 1,000 people saying they want it. There's some people who just don't want it. So we estimated about 20% adoption on that. That might be low based upon some of the things that people have told me, like Franklin Williams and others, that people are going to jump on it. But I don't have a direct answer to it, Dr. Tyner.
Okay. I heard you say November a few minutes ago.
I think we could start
You're
it.
coming back and you
He said
backing up
start.
on me.
He said
I think we can start in November. I think we can start in.
Starting November, okay. Man, okay, it is.
Journey of 1,000 starts with
Yeah, that's
one
right.
step.
And my folks back at our county office, if you will, bring it on and we'll figure it out.
Amen.
Well, members, I'm asking you tonight to let our attorney and our county manager work out the logistics and agreement with US Cellular, with nothing that will make this county obligated for anything over and above what you all agree on. That's where I know we don't have agreement, but we wanted tonight to bring it to you. We got to get started, folks.
That's
We're gonna get started. We'll be back here next month, then all y'all gonna be calling us. Gotta start somewhere.
That's right. Yes, and we thank you for your calls and your persistence.
It would be, Dr. Shiner, it would be helpful to know of an option, like which of the options is the option that would be most,
We'll pay you $586.85, what we said in the beginning. That's what I'm going with. What we look at our budget, we want to go with. Okay? Anything change, we'll let you know. We'll see how it starts. If it starts and we really like it, county manager can make a recommendation to us that we even do more. Okay?
sir?
Okay?
Thank
Board members, could I have a motion that the county manager and the attorney work out the agreement? And they will send you a copy of it for your to look at. Have any problem with it? You need to call county manager or our attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we, well, sure.
So just so I'm clear,
Yes.
so, and I think my recommendation would be that this board approves in principle, US Cellular partnership under option 1, subject to final review and approval of this board of the contract documents, which soon as they're finalized in a final state that they will come back before this board to be presented to the public and voted on by the board.
Okay. How long it's gonna take? They're gonna keep calling me. How long it gonna take? They ain't calling you. How long it gonna take?
As soon as I receive the contract documents from US Cellular, it will be.
Whatever vote we need to take on whatever. I'm telling you, this calling about this is just for me.
And the point I wanted to make to the board and to the public is this has to come back before the board. The final contract is not being approved tonight because we don't have it.
Okay. Did I have a
You're
motion
fine.
on that? Or did you make the motion?
I did not. I was waiting for our attorney to
Okay.
discuss with us.
Any other questions you need to ask the attorney? Okay. Now, what is your pleasure, board members? You've heard what he said, what the attorney recommended.
I make a motion that we approve in principle the partnership between Northampton County Local Government and US Cellular, proposing option 1, approval of option 1 in the contract that is to be worked on between our attorney and the legal counsel of US Cellular, which includes a partial assistance of $585 per home with a maximum not to exceed amount of serving 1,144 citizens. I think that covered everything.
Second.
With proper second, we approve in principle the proposal have come to us from US Cellular. They'll be negotiating this, talking with county manager, attorney. Are there any questions, any other questions, any discussion? Buffalo, any questions, any discussion?
Oh, no more questions.
Thank you. All in favor, let know by usual sign aye.
Aye.
Al Faulkner.
Aye. Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you. Yeah. This time we'll have the financial.
Thank you. You guys want me to review all 5 budget amendments together and then you do a vote, or?
Yes, yeah, you can do it.
Before you, budget amendment number 2, which is to increase the DSS budget to allot for program funding that covers the APS essential services of $2,559 and the SNAP ARPA fund of $34,801.50, total of $37,360.57. That's funding.
Budget amendment number 3. We put in in our budget, $800,000 and for Oldham Prison. This amendment basically delineates the line items for the 800,000. Budget amendment number 4. What we're basically doing here is we're moving the salaries and benefits and expenses for the animal welfare staff that is currently in health services or the health department from the sheriff department, putting the monies where they're actually the folks and the expenditures are, so that we're not constantly making adjustments in payroll. Budget amendment number 5, received $2,548.22 for insurance reimbursement. And then finally, budget amendment number 6, we are appropriating $4,658.97 from the fund balance for elections. This is carry forward money from 2022. Those are the budget amendments for consideration.
So you moved it from what? From health to sheriff,
From sheriff to the health department,
sheriff.
where they're actually located.
Okay. Well, board members, do you have any questions? Well, I ask for a motion first, since this. If you want to ask about any of the budget.
Make a motion that we approve budget amendments 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 as presented by our county manager tonight.
Okay, could I have a second?
Second, Buffalo.
Thank you. If we move them properly second, that we approve the budget amendments as given. Any other question, any discussion? This is, I need to ask just one. This is all these funds in our budget. Right. It's not, okay, thank you. We're just moving from one place to the other. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? And if not, all in favor, let know by you sign aye.
Aye.
Al Faulkner,
Buffalo.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you. This time we shall,
I just have one more thing.
yes,
The DSS, that's additional funding. So we did get additional funding. I just wanted to make sure.
did it come from the state?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just, before you move on, I wanted to mention one more thing that she's not here, Ms. Becky and I, Public Works Director, we had a robust conversation with some officials from GFL
Yes.
today. That's the Waste Management Services. We've been having a lot of complaints, and we got them in, we talked to them, and they gave us their time and attention. From that conversation, we did get a telephone number that we will post on the website that is dedicated to Northampton County citizens, and the number is 252-820-9836. That's 252-820-9836. You can get directly to customer service that's dedicated just to Northampton County. And we're gonna, they listen to us. We're gonna post this on our website. And we told them that we would get back with them in a couple of weeks to see how things are going, to see if the number of complaints actually go down. Because we get complaints directly into our Public Works Department so that we can monitor them versus what they said they were getting at their site. So
That's it. This time, we're gonna ask the county manager, you got any remarks?
that's it. I just want to thank everyone for coming out and always showing your support and your love for the county. Thank you.
Are there any citizens remark? Okay. James Garner, please come forward, please. He's coming with you.
Sure. Mr. Garner, if you'll come forward and approach the podium, this board has approved a 5-minute period for each citizen to make any comments should they choose to do so. The board will not engage in a dialogue with you tonight. However, if you have any questions, you will receive a response by county staff. And we ask that you please be respectful of the forum and of your board members and county staff. Thank you.
Garner.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much and good afternoon
Good evening.
to the chairman and to the Board of Commissioners. It's good to be here this afternoon. Let me say I'm here tonight because I have a great passion for the county which I was born and raised in. And I'd like to say thank you guys, how you negotiated that cell phone deal. Thank you for the broadband. But if they're serious about it, have them to put skin in the game too. Got a water tower right there in Garysburg. I'm glad you say you're from Garysburg. You got a water tower right there. And then up on 46, you got a big tall water tower there on 46. So you got a couple of water towers around. That's the way I did it when I was in power. They came to me, we had the same problem. And if you're really serious, we want you to put skin in the game. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here because, as I mentioned to you, I have a great passion for Northampton County. That being said, on the last time I had a chance to look at the economic opportunities on maps, and that portion that goes on 46 west to River Road from 95, last time I had a chance to look at it. As you know, Chairman, 46 is a busy road, and I'm big on sustainable development. That was a hallmark of my administration when I was in office. So I just what I really would like to hear tonight, if you possibly have it, you probably haven't talked about it in a long time, is just an update on the economic opportunity zone from 46 and 95 up to River Road. That's really what I like to hear, what your plans, and just give me an update on it.
You will get one in writing. We'll certainly answer that in writing. There is a plan.
Mhm.
You'll get it in writing, okay?
All right.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
thank you.
All right.
You know, I'd like to do it now, but I can't. So we'll give it to you in writing. At this time, we ask for Ms. Buffalo, any comments from you, Ms. Buffalo?
Good evening to our citizens, and thank you to all for coming out this evening, as well as our presenters. I would just like to share one thing. The Museum of the Albemarle has asked for some photos. This year's theme for the museum is 1970s Christmas, and they would like any old photos that you have from Christmas in the 70s. If you would please share them with them, and they will return them. I don't know how they will be staged at the museum, but if you have some old photos that you would like to send to the museum, or if you want me to hand deliver them and make sure that I get them back, I'd be happy to do so. And I think Ms. Itea has everything put out on the county's website, phone numbers that you can pick up and call Ms. Putnam at the museum or call me directly. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay with us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to say, as we look, it was so good to see buses running as kids went back to school, and look around Northampton County. When you see those yellow limousines, that's a sign that kids are back in school and they're back to face learning. That was absolutely amazing to see those kids going back. Hope everyone had a great Labor Day holiday. And we are coming up on another anniversary of 9/11. Let's please remember those that lost their lives in 9/11 as we live in the greatest country there is, the United States of America. And also let's celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month this month. Thank you. Those are my comments.
Thank everyone for coming out. Some of the topics covered tonight have been on our agenda and our conversations for a number of years. It's great to see some traction behind the conversation. It is not where I want it to be, nor you, but it is definitely not where we were a day ago. And so I'm going to hold all of us to the charge of increasing access for our communities to not only broadband, but to health. And that has been something we have talked about for a while. Thank you all again for remaining with us. It's great to see a lot of people out here on a beautiful day like today was this evening, that you chose to spend it with us. And I do not take that lightly. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, let me say I'm much appreciative of you and all the hard work that you do, helping us to do what we do in Northampton County. I cannot say enough about the staff that we have and about all the departments that we have. All are working hard to make Northampton County a better place. If there's one thing that I'd like to leave with you tonight that is really disgusting and it really upsets me, is the fact of how long it takes to get anything done. It really bothers me. It bothers me because if you got federal monies, you got a letter saying you got it, but God knows when will you get it. I mean, it's really wear on you because of the fact you work hard to get it, but yet they won't gotta go through all the red tape and they won't send it like tomorrow. You got to go through the red tape to get it. I've said that to say this. Phase 6 of our water. I thought sure I would have some water, but now a cloud day. Then the Rivers and Associates is the company that has it, has the contract to get it moving, and it frustrates me, just like it does about getting internet. It really frustrates me because I think we ought to get it done, and let's get it done. You heard me say a few minutes ago to the gentleman over here, you told me 1 month, and now you done gone back on. I just like to get things done and get it over with and go on to something else. So I want to say to the citizens of our county, just have some patience. That's what we got. The government owes all this money, 3 million, 4 million. We got letters on it, but have not come through with the monies yet. So I just want you to know that you got to have patience in this business. And that water, I talked to the county manager, I'm trying to put a little pressure on him, but I forgot he don't dig no water, no hole. Forgive me, man. But see, they told me they're gonna be ready in August this month to start that. Now they're telling me it's gonna be what? Sure. Next year. So it is. And let me tell you something else we found a problem in Northampton County. And let's face it, the problem is in Northampton County, we're small. People who are in business going to the larger places. It's hard for us to get anybody to come to Northampton County to work and do what we need to get done. Because we're not talking about a lot of money either. They're going to the big job. They're going to, Raleigh don't have that problem. Rocky Mount probably doesn't have that problem. But anybody east gonna have that problem. So just have patience. It's all coming. Just like we're doing with the internet. It's coming. Please have patience. And I said that because I want the water people to, please don't burn me. Don't burn me. Don't burn me. We are coming with the water. But I thought we would have water going down the road right now. So just have patience, and it's all gonna happen. we're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep working till it's done. Thank you, board members. That's all I got to say. Time to go. Ask you for a motion to. Okay,
Second.
proper second, and we adjourn. Are you ready? All in favor, and know by you saying aye.
Aye.
Faulkner.
Buffalo.
Ayes have it. Motion is carried. Thank you all for coming. Y'all have a safe trip home. I'll come back and see us first.